Gus, are you hearing me? Gus? Gus, are you hearing me?
All right, here I am. I was getting a water bottle.
Alright, so my computer will not handle me streaming to you as an addition, so you will have to join the server if it's available to be done. In the meantime, I will um why am I alright? Let's just join. Alright, so I'm joining the server and I will launch the intro. After that, I will start. Um, I believe that we are starting, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are at round 11, 4 rounds only left, ladies and gentlemen. Why am I repeating myself? My name is Quattros, and this time out, I am not being joined by nobody. I do finally have a companion to the commentary box, and it's Gus the Goose.
Hello, everybody. As Quattros has mentioned, this is your friend and mine, Gus the Goose, and it's a beautiful day here in the Italian hills. We're at the Autodromo Pomodoro for the 11th round of this championship, which is reaching its final phases now. T-Jerks led comfortably from the early phases of this championship, but for the first time in quite as long as we can remember, there's been a chink in the armor. Manpifting is within striking distance to take back this championship, but he has to lead T-Jerk in pretty much every single session that follows.
Yes, and we have Going McRae going very well in the championship, but not good enough to stop the two yellow hungry of victories and 1-2 scars. However, he was the one to break the curse of 1-2 from Confirmed Racing Squad. And at P4 we have Ava Flakes, who is one of the most surprising improvements this season, if not the biggest sensation. Then Crisscross, Play Games, Tirushava, Sebastian Cateau, who has served his first podium since Season 7 his board, then Gio, who was banned, and KitKat, who has recently got into the top 10. And then we have Confirm Racing Squad ahead of Swift GP and Olau Kotangan Racing, then Scuderia Squadra, then Funny Group Racing, Laguar, Mantai, Lezados, PHX, and TMP Motorsport running up that final um, 10th position. Now let's stick to what we have. With faster, and we have so much we have so advantages over the rivals to Shala, testing at the first lap.
Chelsea Buster's teammates ran 50 last time this season, and last time this season, the winner was my driver Washington. Starting his final home race before he retires from FRL, won this race last time out. He's good in these kinds of slip pack races. definitely going to keep an eye on the 21 today.
Yes, and the 21 car that we are seeing right now is driven under a special rivalry because it's for the Scuderia Squadra. For play games, it's a home race, so they have prepared a special retro library as we can see now. So let's just might be one of the contenders for the best library this season. Currently, we are seeing an unexpected pole sitter of Tirushalvam. He has scored some couple of P3s this season in qualifying. He has never been higher than P3, so it could be his first front row start of his career in Division 1. We are also not seeing T-Jerk, who is completing his lap, purple sector 1 as expected, as he might break the record for most pole position this round, as he is tied with Andy with 21 pole positions each. So we can see that T-Jerk is driving very from the office. He does go first, but in the margins, we have all drivers from the 10 and 5 minutes. Basically, top 10 is inside and second. It was expected that the line would be very high as it was.
We've been informed by production that the onboard camera audio is a bit too loud. Apologize
always
for that.
Oh, Tirushalvam has made a mistake, and Sassy Imposter, I have said that all the way up into this race, that he will be a threat, and now we are seeing his best form that he has presented in Season 7 last time out. So we will see how this quali will go. We see Goemi Chris going only 700 of a second off Sassy Imposter, but landing only in P5. Play game is finishing 1700 of a second, finishing in P7. You can just see by yourself how tight this qualifying is and will going to be.
Yes, we apologize for any audio issues that we are having with the onboard camera. Sussy Imposter 2244 sitting on provisional pole. It's not quite the fastest time I've ever seen here at Pomodoro, but it's one of the fastest I've seen in the build-up to Season 10. Definitely a lot of anticipation for this pole. A lot of drivers that have been more in contention in qualifying Division 1 compared to in the races. Tirushalvam, relatively quiet entry in Division 1 this season. Not a whole lot of anticipation, especially after the controversy of Season 9 Division 2 East, but has been consistently in the points and qualifying quite high up in recent rounds. So definitely another driver to watch in the 14-man tie.
Alright, you will do your best now. I will try to anticipate the endangerment with my audio. So, alright, let's see what we can do. Alright, so say something, please, Gus.
Something in the way she moves attracts me like a pomegranate.
Alright, the audio of yours is indeed stronger. So we will see how this goes now. However, I don't really think that I can turn it down. We have entered into the 1 minute. It's T-Jerk. In the meantime, however, I don't really think that I can do something. Oh, I can't do something about it, right? So we will see how this goes now. Is it better? It is better, right? So let's come back to what the qualifying has in mind. As the 15 goes only 1/10 short of his teammate. It looks like for a qualifying like this, the score is going to be the same. Confirm Racing Squad as it stands at the moment. As we see, Racing was going to be 8. He hasn't really put some amount of practice. I wasn't sure whether he would be racing or not. So this would be a tough, very tough qualifying for Cross. I was sure about that, and we are seeing this now. So let's see the other drivers that are set to finish the laps. I don't think that any of them are.
T-Jerk took his 22nd pole last time out. That tied the all-time record for most pole positions with Endy. If he takes pole today, he will be the most successful qualifier in FRL history.
Yes, but the time of 1 point, 9 couldn't be beaten by anyone. There were drivers that were talking about 1 minute and 5 tenths of a second as a maximum lap time to absorb. So we will see now Peter rounding off that final turn of the layout into style. We'll see if he can go for another shot in case further moves. However, he can go in sector 1. So he's finding the improvement. However, he has done so much, and it happened in fact on the next turn. He has a medal in his qualifying round. However, he can go again. So we will see the others. Cecil Fox will also go again as the 15 goes third. If someone is to anticipate the threat of End's record being beaten, it's the 15 for now. So Turtle sector 1 going through this fast flowing corners of sector 2 that are being driven as way faster as we think. It's red in sector 2, so we will see Gus over to you.
Riding on board with man 15 here in the number 7 black and yellow car. He rises up the hill. There's a very slow left-hander going through this corner. You have to be careful to take it. Crosses the line.
He doesn't
Can't do
fall
it.
short by 300 of a second, but he intends to go again. It looks like so. Yes, he does. So we will see how much can soft do when it comes to some slight wear within the last lap. So we will see the 50 going again as Chris Cross goes P3. So that's a very unexpected lap for him. Let's see at the others. Let's look at Leggings. He is not going. Oh no, he's going again. Right. So let's see what the 50 has in mind. And I think that nobody is on the lap. Excellent. So let's look at excellent.
Man 15 certainly not a driver that comes to mind when you consider qualifying. Since the start of season 9, he's only had 2 pole positions. One in season 9 and one in season 10. His XR3 jumps up to 9th place. 2 tenths off the lead, around about 3 tenths third respectively.
I think has pitted, so he won't do anything about Phoenix 9. Less candidates to overcome the Comfort Racing Squad's championship leader of the Mission. Let's see Leggings who's on the lap. Green sector 1, red sector 2. We'll see what he can do in sector 3. He has every piece of a tarmac, but he goes into the pits. He also battles his lap. 10th. What will Saucy do? Will he at least go P3? No, but he gets the second 3. Alright, so we are on board with Going Chris, who also goes into the pits. He can do nothing about it. We'll see what Buffalo will do. He ain't at the moment. He is actually going to finish his lap, but record of 2 red sectors is not going to be enough as T-Jerk, we are marking the history. T-Jerk now holds the record of the most pole positions in Formula Roblox League.
T-Jerk breaking that record, only a matter of time. Star qualifier in season 9 and continues that way in season 10. We've been told that we should probably just stay off the onboard again by our wonderful producer. Wonderful producer who may or may not take the Division 2 West Championship later today. We look up to the lights to go racing in the hills of Italy. A beautiful day for a motor race. Let's go! T-Jerk breaks history and leads the field to green for the 23rd time in his career, more than any other driver can say. We are riding into turn 1 as you were from the top 3. Crisscross OMG looking to be best of the rest and beat Avaflakis for that 4th spot in the championship. Man Pifting pressuring T-Jerk. Into that next corner, it's neck and neck, it's tight to tight, there's nothing between them. The 2 confirmed racing squad where they've been seemingly all season. Crisscross OMG is hanging in the tow just behind. It looks like the rest of the midfield has maintained their position relative to each other as we see Avaflakis take Tio Chelvam and Tio Chelvam take the place back for 6th place on the grid. Tax up to 9th past his teammate. T-Jerk starts to pull a gap to Man Pifting, but only by a little bit. Side by side, down the main straight we go. The fastest lap moves down the field as the fastest mover continues to change on that first lap. It's Old One at the Mochi looking to continue a streak of points for TMP Motorsports, which they've been struggling to do so since they entered Division 1 in the midpoint of the season. T-Jerk is your race leader from Van Pifting. Remember, if Van Pifting wants a shot at this title, he has to lead T-Jerk in pretty much every single session. He doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle room left in this title. He can't become the champion today because T-Jerk, as Gomi Chris 2 is up to 4th place. The two Chris's fighting on what would have been the second row of the grid. Chris Cross-Solomon, the American, and the Dutch driver, Gomi Chris 2, who's overtaken by Sussy Imposter 2244 under the bridge, who then takes the position back. XR3, fastest in the first sector on the second lap, but is overtaken by Ava Flackies. They're side by side as it stands. Meanwhile, out in front, the gap is listed as 0 on my screen as Van Pifting takes the lead, but T-Jerk immediately takes it back within the very same corner. Trouble for Sussy Imposter as he falls down to 11th place. He must have hit the extremities of the track somewhere. He's now under pressure from Old at the Mochi. Chris Cars OMG, fastest mover on the second lap.
Yeah, Chris Cars OMG has had a great start of the race, having put nothing to a practice sessions as he was unable to race. He eventually raced only because of his injury of the lower back. He will eventually put up another challenge for Confirm Racing Squadcast to eventually stop them from taking 1-2 in this race as for the second time in a row. So yeah, Going with Chris having a very, very good time as Tirushelvam, I believe he has corner cutted. You can't really take the corner cuts too serious as they are. Oh, someone is disconnected. No, it's KitKat a bit louder. I'm sorry.
Some visual lag for KitKat, the Ukrainian driver, currently sitting in 8th place, running that special tribute to a certain team in that number 13. Under pressure from his teammate, Play Games, and his final home race in the 21, and our reigning race winner from this race last season.
Yes, and we still see 3 of the drivers, Confirm Racing Squad and Contangans, fighting for the positions throughout the podium. We see also Goimi Chris charging with a little bit of composure. 2, all of them 3, maybe even going inside the battle, making it a 4-way fight instead of a 3-way fight between Chris Cross, T-Jerk and Pifting, as we see Goimi Chris getting closer and closer with each and every second that goes in the from the future to the past. We also see that Tax, Ava Flakes, and Goimi Chris oh my god. As Chris Cross must have made a mistake, he's being overtaken by Goimi Chris. They go side by side as we speak. Going into lap 5, it looks like Chris Cross' fastest lap time will not be threatened by anybody.
We can already see out in front, you see the top 4 are pulling away from the rest of the field. Gomi Chris 2 recovering. There's a bit of a pick between that front pack and that rear pack, and was sort of dragging the rear pack with the front pack. Now that he's definitively with the front runners, they're going to try to leave behind everyone else. He's currently led by Tax, who's in a very tight fight with Ava Flackies. If these guys can get away, then they'll have a bit of a buffer to the rest of the field, but as they're all packed up like this, any mistake could be absolutely fatal for a race result here today.
Well, I think it's just about time to say it that Tax's best result in Division 1 this season and in his career respectively is P8. I don't know which race that was. I'm going to check that. However, this can be a chance for him to improve his best record.
He had he has 2 P7s at round 5 and round 7. According to my records here, that would have been...
Oh, yes, right.
South Africa and Argentina. So hasn't really been able to challenge out in front. He's currently sitting 7th, tying his best result as it stands. But he's in the slipstream with these front runners. A lot of promise behind that driver. Had a very short but strong Division 2 season. Really shined in the off-season non-championship league. And that's what earned him his promotion to Division 1. And he is looking all the Division 1 driver that I would expect him to be. But he's hungry for more here today at Pomodoro.
Yeah, Tax might be the most improved driver throughout the course of the seasons. I think that's the most improved driver that I've ever witnessed since Royal, and maybe since T-Driven, maybe since Going Me Chris. Tax has put a really, really good job in overcoming all the difficulties that he has faced last season to become a driver that he is today, and he's thriving and is hungry for more as he's fighting with KitKat, with Ava Flakes, and Play Games, and also XRN in the distance. As we see, as we speak, that it has turned into a top six-way fight for the lead now, as Ava Flakes XRN have gained some distance and they have joined the battle.
It's been a bit of a tough time at the rear of the field for Tofu as we see drivers swapping places all over the grid going into these corners, who has fallen about 6 to 7 seconds, no jokes please, off the rear of the field, down in 14th place. Difficult Season 10 continues for a driver who showed so much promise in Season 9. XR3, it looks like he's gone up to 2nd place.
Did you just say 6 or 7?
No comment. Looks like XR3 has managed to claw through the field and is now fighting with these front runners. The field isn't spreading out like probably the front runners are hoping it is. XR3 also looking to get a best result of this season, having also done so last time out.
Yeah, and Ava Flakes have dropped back very, very badly. He has dropped back from the fight, making a five-way fight for the lead now, instead of a six-way fight for the lead now. Ava Flakes, all he can do now is fighting with KitKat and Play Games, both Scuderia Squadra drivers with a beautiful retro rivalry that is being presented for Pomodoro race only. He has dropped some distance again, he's P8 now. Sitting very, very comfortably. However, anything can happen in this circuit, especially with the corner cuts that have some impact on the driver's composure and momentum. We can also see that Confirm Racing Squad drivers are pulling ahead of Crisscross, of Noemi Crest, of XRN, of Play Games. We see currently the scenario where Confirm Racing Squad drivers are pulling away from the others, whereas the places from from P3 up to P8 are being close, are getting close.
They have a very strong first sector. The rest of the field is a bit more of a match for the Confirm Racing Squad drivers. In the middle and rear parts of the track, you can see there Crisscross OMG's just starting to hone them in just a little bit, and the field's trying to spread out best it can. Well, it would rather not, but the spread is beginning, but it isn't able to do so because the slipstream keeps a cording effect, bringing people forward and back into play.
Yes, and another thing to take a glance on is that 13 drivers are being separated by only 5 seconds. Everyone apart from Tofu Cousin is in that 5-second margin. Maybe also Sassy Imposter, who is having a stinker for these first 10 laps of the race. He started P4, now he's P13. 9 places difference, and 9 places in not in the favor of the British driver. We can also see that with 29 laps to go, it might be the time where drivers may think about the pit stop. I don't really know because I haven't put any practice towards the Division 2 West season. What is the pit lap for the hard tires? Oh, I have forgot to mention the compounds. I'm so sorry for that. We can see that XRN was actually a mediums, probably the reason why it's so high in the standings right now, as well as Tax and Oda Demochi, who is fighting with, putting on a challenge with Brawl Stars and Sassy Imposter in the distance. So it is what it is right now. We see Confirm Racing Squad drivers still pulling ahead of Play Games, of XRN, of Going Me Chris, as Crisscross must have made some major mistake to drop back for 5 places.
Trouble on the track for Crisscross OMG, holder of the fastest lap of the race. The American driver was running in the front. Looks like a mistake he has fallen victim to. A pretty punishing pit lane here. A lot of drivers favoring the one stop, as is often the case on these slip races. And within that strategy, most drivers prefer to start on the harder tire, run very long so the field spreads out, and when they pit directly into a slipstream. The advantage of staying out on worn tires in slipstream is stronger than pitting for fresher rubber, but then not having that slipstream advantage. And the pit lane is also alongside the main straight, so drivers will be running at full speed, which is why it is a very punishing pit lane.
Mm, um, uh, how many times have we seen a driver that has stayed out on the track where everyone is pitting or undercutting the drivers as the only person on the track and not going well with it? Um that's one thing. However, Pomodoro's pit entry is one of the most challenging pit entries to go through. I would compare this to Halong Bay, to New Jersey, to Hisborn, for example. It's super hard to not only maintain your car within the barriers, but also go at the biggest speed you can in order not to lose time from that. We see now Crisscross fighting with KitKat for P7. Crisscross is trying to gain the momentum back as the gap between them and Ava Flake is 1 second. As this season the slip has been increased from 1.5 to 1.8.
Meanwhile, out in front, Play Games is starting to cause
Yes.
problems for the Confirm Racing Squad drivers. The number 21 has left the rest of the field behind, it seems, has caught up to the two leaders and is starting to dice with them and overtake them for the lead.
Yes, Play Games knowing it's his last season in FRO, knowing it's his last race in last home race in FRO, the race that he won last season. He has had a very, very good season last time out. He's not having a good season this time out, only in P6. That's not the level that Play Games have um, get on well with us. He is rather a contender for the title level of the driver rather than best of the rest driver, as he's proving it today. He's trying to exploit and explode all of the potential that he has in his car and in his profile of a driver.
Expected pit lap for the medium is around about lap 17 or 16 if you're feeling earlier. As for the hard tire, it's a bit more variable. 21 to 23 if you're on the hard tire. You'll choose that depending on if you want to go for the undercut, what kind of slipstream you can pit into, stuff like that. Pit lane loss is around 18 seconds. The drivers will have to be looking on the pylon and hoping there'll be a pack of cars around about 18 seconds behind them when they pit from the front, so they can just immediately slip back in that slipstream and start putting the lap times again. That will be critical for the strategy today. As you see out in front, if you run cleanly, you can't really escape from the other drivers around you out in front. The two Confirmed Racing squads and that beautiful red and white Italian Scarlet tribute.
Why did you say 17 or 16 instead of 16 and 17? Alright, never mind. Coming back to the race action, we can see that Crisscross is putting on a challenge finally after that fatal mistake that he has made, presumably around the track. So he is now gaining like a madman. Exteren, who might pit very, very soon. It's now this stage of the race where hearts are taking over from mediums, and we can see that Ava Flake is trying to pull back to the top three. Hasn't really changed since lap 11-12. So it's two Confirmed Racing squads and Play Games who is now taking the lead for a brief moment. The top three is shuffling from second to second, as each second from the future turned into the past unveils a new leader of the race. As we can see now, two drivers willing to join the party, which are the Swift GP leader and the Lagio Racing leader, with Sussy Imposter actually overtaking three cars in the meantime from P14 up to P10.
We've had two drivers coming on pit lane. The number 18 of
Yes.
Olatomochi and the number 32 of Tax. I watched Tax stop. It wasn't brilliant. He ran a bit long in his box and had to reverse a bit. He had enough of a gap on Mochi that he could still maintain in front, but he lost a bit of track time there.
Yes, he did indeed lost it, but let's look at the other factor which might help them too of gaining the gap down to others that they have pitted into. So in case that they have pitted into, they can give slipstream to each other. Unless they don't mess up with each other, they will be very good. They can even challenge Exeron, who is going into the pits. So we'll see how good Exer goes. He will likely actually go ahead of the cars that pitted up earlier. Yes, it is super likely to happen. However, once he comes back into from the pits, uh, them two, Tax and Mochi, will be on the starting straight, and we are seeing it now. And Tofu's cousin has overtaken in the meantime, just in the final moment to do so, XRN, and he needs to get it back. In the meantime, we see it being a four-way fight for the lead as Ava Flakis has joined the party, not comparing it to Goimi Chris, who has to fight with Crisscross from for P5, rather than fighting with the other guys up front for the lead of the race. We can also see Sassim Pastor getting up one place again. However, it was for XRN who has pitted, and he's still yet to pit. However, the gap between him and Tirushavam is not safe enough for Tirushavam to not to worry about Sassi Imposter. He can still come back, knowing that this is his best track, the track that he can thrive at the best scenario. We can see that with halfway of the race being done, nothing is sorted out. Expect for Tofu being the last car on the straight.
We're starting to see there'll be a time to watch, and that'll be the time from the leader to XR3. It's currently sitting around about 20 seconds. So as it stands, if race leader T-Jerk comes in, he will be ahead of XR3, and it looks like without slipstream, that gap is not going down relative to the new compounds. Abaflakis has joined that front fight, and is still dragging the rest of the midfield with him. Biggest gap I can see near the front is about a, let's see here, it's about a half-second gap from Crisscross Comedy to Play Games, and then you have to go all the way back to KitKat to start getting gaps greater than 1 second.
Yes, indeed. Right, I think that the game volume problem is finally gone, as we see that Crisscross and Goimi Chris are trying to put on a challenge. Goimi Crisscross, oh my god, being presumably back in the lead fight after so long time of trying to gain the momentum back. He has gained that. However, we can see once again two Confirm Racing squad drivers pulling away from Ava Flakes, from Play Games. We can see the difference that they are putting when fighting with other cars, even in a slip track. You can see the skill advantage that the Confirm Racing squad drivers have. However, that's a very common thing to see. Pifting is a three-time world champion from FRO, and Tidrek is a runner-up from Season 8, the championship leader, P3 last season. He is the most dangerous man at the moment, at this stage of the season, and he is the main candidate to win it in the Season 10.
Looking like the Confirm Racing squad's out in front, drivers starting to swap places. Abaflakis and Play Games are now still trying to hold station using that slipstream, but they're starting to fight each other, which will help them move forward, but at the same time, they can't let the Confirm Racing squad drivers run away from them. They go through the banked twisty section, very unique within this calendar. It's an extremely short run around this track, and that's why the drivers love it. This is a fan favorite track and a driver favorite track. We could see a new winner here, but it looks like, as it stands, the Confirm Racing squads, including absolute danger man T-Jerk, who is looking to finally get the title that he feels, I imagine, was taken from him in Season 9, and especially in Season 8.
it might be the fans' favorite track, the drivers' favorite track, but I do know some drivers that don't like it. Will say more that hate it, and I
There are
don't,
drivers who don't
and
like anything in this league.
I do not want to bring up examples. I think you know who am I talking about, but there are some drivers that hate this track. Uh, yeah, if you know the person that hates it the most, then it's good for you. However, we can see that top forwards being stuck with each other, swapping places from corner to corner with each second happening on the track, with Chris Cross being just in the distance of the action, willing to do anything in his power to gain a position or two. We can also see Groovy Chris being in the distance as it might be time to pit. We will see who will pit. We will see at which lap will all of them pit. Into the lap 22 we go. With 18 laps to go, we see Sassy Imposter trying to undercut the guys up front. It's not the base race, but the best race for him. It might be the classic race of the season for Sassy Imposter, unless he can do something about it. With the undercut attempt he is doing, I wish him all the best with that undercut attempt, but it is not likely that it will pass the test. However, he's just behind Tax and Odo the Mochi. He can gain the composure, gain the momentum back really quickly, and put himself into the slipstream margin and eventually overtaking them both as he has fresher tires.
It was a clean stop for the 17. They put on a set of sticker yellows. That's the medium tire. And he is in the slipstream. He's going to try to move forward. The rest of the front pack are likely going to play a game of chicken with each other. Yes, the undercut can be very powerful, but generally you want to stay in that slipstream as long as possible. So we're going to see these drivers likely push each other to go along. The moment T-Jerk reacts, I imagine we're going to see the rest of the field out in front do the same
KitKat
too.
does the same.
The number 13 crew is waiting for the driver KitKat. With the
KitKat
clean
does the
stop,
same.
he hits his marks. Sticker yellows, and he's back out on track.
The reigning D2E champion from season 9, driving under Max GP's reign, Min GP's reign, is coming out of the pits. We'll see where does he go. Will he go ahead of Sissy Basra? He will. So he defends his position against him. However, I don't think that's a good idea to do so. However, knowing how much time did Sussy Imposter gain, it might be a spot-on decision for him. We will see as far as the time comes, and the time will come now. 23 laps passed. Into lap 24, we will see drivers coming out of the pits. No, no, they are all saying us. Groimy Chris has hit the wall. I presume, I think that I saw that happen. It might lose him a lot of time as Turushavam does the same. Brawl Stars does the same. However, top 5 are staying still on the decision to go home for the quick and good change of tires. We see Goiming Chris going after the pits behind XRN. However, he can put that gap down quickly as the tire advantage will begin and will have the vote to speak.
Critical thing now is Gomi Chris 2, I believe, was the highest driver to attempt this undercut. He is now somewhat the danger man. It's a 19-second gap because he had that difficulty on pit entry.
Benchmark.
I imagine if it had been a bit smoother, he might have been in more valid undercut range. So the front drivers will have a clean stop. They should get out just in front of him. They are all to stay out one more time. They are playing chicken with each other, as I guess.
Yes, they are all staying, and it will pay in their favor as more laps in hard compound tires obviously mean lower amount of the laps in the medium compound of tires. So they will have a bigger advantage of the tires as the laps go down to the drivers that were trying to undercut them. It will cost themselves a position, but they will gain a somewhat fundamental advantage as Sissy Imposter now finally put up a challenge to crisscross his lap and steals it from him. Running in PCs now, fighting with Tirushavam, KitKat in the distance. We will see how this race goes for all the drivers. Nothing has been decided yet.
You
Espet
talk
for
a lot about
Tofu
the
being the
undercut. That's
last
when you pit
race.
before your rivals to gain an advantage. This would be the overcut. If the advantage is to stay out and stay in the slipstream, it is better to run longer and then pit
I
onto
think
the
that
tire,
might
and you
be
can
about
actually get ahead
time.
of people that way.
It is about time. Crisscross is speeding. Ava Flake is speeding. However, Menpifting, Play Games, and T-Jerk Boy are still staying out with only 14 laps to go. Now it's 26 to 14 ratio of the tires for them, unless they want to stay out for a little bit longer than expected. We have expected it. You have expected it. 21 to 23. Some drivers pitted at that lap time range, but some are staying up until lap 26 or even more above. So it's super interesting to see all these strategy shuffles happening. As we can see, also T-Rex losing some momentum to Play Games, to Pivoting. It might cost him a big disadvantage when it comes to the pit stops, as he will have some time to gain back to Play Games and to Pivoting. It might be about time for all of them three to pit, unless they want to do something about it. We will see how the time will come. Pivoting pits, Play Games pits, and Teacher pits. The time has finally come, and we will see what will Gomi Chris do about it. Will he overtake the man? Will Exer overtake the man? Will Crisscross overtake the man?
Watch the blend. Here it comes. This is
They
going to be
do.
close. It was a clean stop for
Yes,
everybody.
it's not even
They're neck
close.
and neck. Gomi Chris 2 is the leader.
It's not even close. However, Crisscross has only 6 tenths of an advantage over Menpifting with one lap older tires. It might be a very, very bad decision for him, as it has paid off to Exer, to Goimi Chris, who must have had some great laps to go count down the leaders, and they have paid, and it has paid for him.
It's been a disaster for T-Jerk. He's 1.5 seconds off the rest of his rivals. The blend did not
Yes,
work
he's
well
only
for him at
P10.
all. It was a rough in-lap on the worn tires.
Yes, he's only P10, but I think I saw him being slowed down at the inside, at the outside of the penultimate corner. I think that's, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Outside of the turn that we are through right now with T-Jerk. So I think that must have had some damage on him, as he's only P10. However, Crisscross, oh my god, is trying to put up a challenge to XRN now. They are split by only a tenth of a second, with Goimi Chris trying to maintain and open the gap with 1 second and 2 tenths in it.
Gomi Chris 2 felt like he could have won the race last time out. He's had an immense step up in the later half of the season. Maybe his time is now. He has to hold off the rest of the field. Everyone's pitted. There's different strategies going on. XR3 is on the inverse to everyone around him. But right now, they are all fighting for position. This is for the victory in this race.
Yes, indeed, that is. As we can see, Mepifting finally getting on a purple sector 2. He is very, very hungry of trying to take down the gap between him and Tidruk, which is 24 points. I think I am sure with that. I will check that as the Ferrari pit crew. 21, so it's even lower. So as it stands, the gap will go down. Pifting will score 16 points. T-Jerk will score 6 points, so the gap will go down by 10 points, and the gap will stay at 11 points as it stands with 3 rounds to go. And one is rather a Pifting track to begin with.
There's a gap forming between just in front of Tier Chelvam, who's in 7th place. It's getting closer and closer to a second. That's not what T-Jerk needs, because he's on the back of that train. He has to make sure that gap is still small by the time he gets up there, or else he's going to have a serious amount of trouble getting back up to the front. It's not going to go.
Crisscross has made a mistake. I was about to talk about him having put down the gap between him and Goimi Chris. It was 1.2. It was It used to be 6 tenths of a second. Now he has made a mistake that will cost him a big time when it comes to trying to take down the gap to Chris. Now he'll have to worry about play games, worry about Ava Flakies, worry about XRN, who is on all the lap tires, of course, but Chris Cross might make some mistakes as well. We will see what the time will tell. 10 laps to go, with Goimi Chris still leading. His lead was under a threat, a big threat from Chris Cross. However, that threat has been overcome by him, and he has great composure and his stall nerves.
Man Pifting is starting to cut that gap down. It was about 1.5 seconds entering this lap. It's now around about 1 second, and it's dropping all the time. There are slightly fresher tires on the 7 of Man Pifting. Only Chris 2 has to put his head down if he wants to take his first ever victory in the Formula Roblox League Championship.
Yes, and Diedrich has already overtaken Sussy Imposter. He is just on the back of Tirushavam of KitKat, as he is being overtaken by both of them now on the starting straight. So Diedrich now has Tirushavam up in his mind, then XR, and then Ava Flakis, then going crisscross, play games, Mempifting, who is taking on off that gap over Goimi Chris's backpack, as Tofu has gave up and he has pitted once again.
Definitely a driver of a lot of promise. Tofu, great results in Division 2 last season, great results in Division 1 last season. Hasn't really had the time to hone his skills and return to his top running form that saw him gain that promotion. We hope to see him fight another day. He puts on a set of sticker red soft tires, probably going to go for a fastest lap attempt. He was on the back of the field anyway, so it is worth a try.
It might not pass though, as okay, soft tires, but no slipstream at all. If he can maybe slow down on the out lap to gain the slipstream from the lead back, that might also be a thing, as Tidrick Boy is in P6 now, 1 second behind Crisscross, who is 0.2 of a second behind Aveflekis.
We have a battle for the lead.
Yes, we have a battle for the lead. Actually, Mempifting has already overtaken Goimi Chris, but we will see what will Goimi Chris try to do about it. Will he try to put on a challenge to the reigning world champion? The champion from Season 8? We will see about that.
Diedrich is starting to get back into the slipstream train. He can get to the front, but as it stands, he's really lost a lot of time in that pit stop cycle. I think the in-lap wasn't brilliant, or the pit stop wasn't brilliant. I'm not entirely sure what happened to the 87. He can still get back up into that top 3, which is really where he needs to be if he wants to keep Man Pifting from putting a massive hole in his championship battle. But there are a lot of hungry drivers out in front who don't usually get the chance to run here, who love this track, who run well at this track, and they're not going to make it easy for him. There's drivers like Play Games, Avaflakis, and Crisscross, and also Goemi Chris 2, who is hungry for his first victory. Feels like probably he should have gotten it by now.
Yes, car 67 fighting with car number 7 for that final piece of glory, which is P1. However, Goimi Chris is making a corner cut, and this will make him lose 2 or maybe 3 positions. Play Games and Ava Flakes are in favor for that, as Chris Cross is just behind the other Chris. 2 Chrissies are now fighting for the position, with Tidruk not that far behind, and they should worry about Tidruk more than anyone else, as the Tidruk is the fastest driver arguably and non-arguably at one time simultaneously on the grid.
It was a massive toe down the long straight for Play Games without anybody else in his way. Now he's gaining on Man Pifting. Can Play Games win this race 2 times in a row in his final season of FRL?
Well, the gaps are pretty even on themselves. 0.4 of a second Man Pifting Play Games, 0.2 of a second Ava Flakes Play Games, 0.3 of a second Goimi Chris Ava Flakes, 0.2 of a second Chris Cross Goimi Chris, and 0.3 of a second Tidruk to Crisscross. The gaps are pretty even. The fights are being begun. with only 6 laps to go, this might be one of the most exciting races to see as Teacher goes wide once again, and that doesn't help him. That doesn't help him. And his situation in the World Drivers' Championship, as as it stands, Teacher will set 13 points as a benchmark from a 15 that will be beaten, and will be 28 points. 15 points lost to Teacher, which means that the gap will be only 6 points going into this United States of America. As Pifting is fighting with Play Games as we speak, so the comment to this curse has put on a challenge once more, and Play Games is only 1/10 of a second behind Pifting. Gus, over to you.
There is a fly in the ointment in this regard. This is a very short track, very punishing pit lane, as I mentioned. Tofu's extra stop for the soft tire. You'll notice he is right in front of the race leaders. He's not close enough to be blue flagged. We do have a mandatory blue flag system in this sport. So if he gets too close, he will have to yield his position to the race leaders, and it looks like he does not have the pace to outpace the blue flags as it stands. But there will be some slipstream effect off that while this happens. There's a fly in the ointment today here at Pomodoro.
Yes, it will be now 36 laps after the drivers 4 laps before. So Pifting and Play Games and Pifting 21 against 7, 7 against 21. When we subtract these two numbers, it comes 14. When we add these two numbers, it comes 29. However, it doesn't really matter as the battle is on, and it won't stop until some of them are making a mistake. Now Ava Flakes is trying to put on a challenge, 4/10 of a second. Then we have Crisscross, who is 4/10 of a second behind Ava Flakes. Then we have Goimi Chris, who is 4/10 of a second behind Crisscross. And then we have Teaser Chris, 3/10 of a second behind Goimi Chris. So after all, as an overall, we have 6 drivers being separated by only 1.7 tenths of a second. Um, yes.
Tofu was
With
shown the blue flag, but he quickly got out of the way of the entire field. The rest, they're all Brawl Stars Master just got past him, so now he is out of the way, and the front runners can fight once again.
Yes, and Brawl Stars Master is not that far behind Sassy Imposter. The gap, I believe the gap was 4.5, now it's 1.5 with only 3 laps to go. The gap is being even shorter between the top 3, as Ava Flakes might put on a challenge to try and overcome both Plagueis and Pifting to achieve his first win of Division 1 career and first win of the season. And the second podium of the season, as he gained his first podium in the season at Hisborn, trying to put up a challenge to both Confirm Racing squads, but the mistake at the final turn made him not doing so. Now he can make amends in this laps, trying to overtake both Play Games and Pifting for the final podium position, as Goimi Chris has already lost a place to T-Jerk Boy. The T-Jerk Boy, who is trying to put up a challenge to Crisscross in P4. Now we have 6 drivers separated only by 1.4 seconds. It is 4/10 less than it was 2 laps ago, with only 2 laps to go. So the gap will be going up and down. Nothing is decided besides Tofu's being at last place.
Tale of 3 drivers out in front. Matt Pifting, definitely an experienced driver, has been winning consistently his entire career, always fighting for championships. Ava Flacky's very early on in his Division 1 career had Division 2 West seemingly on easy mode last time out, was constantly winning races, and has done well in Division 2 West, but wants to win. And Play Games in his final races in his FRL career. 3 different stories converging here today. We'll take the white flag soon.
And who will? That's the good question, because we see Pifting and Play Games being neck and neck each and every second of the corner, as we see Ava Flake is making a mistake. Now T-Jerk is back up into the podium places, but we have T-Jerk and Crisscross and Ava Flake is so many drivers just in the matter of seconds, tenths of a second, hundreds of a second, thousands of a second, as the final lap has come. The final turns will unveil the winner, and one mistake will cost you everything, will cost you the chance to not only stand on the podium, but also stand on the P6, as Goimi Chris is not that far behind of the leaders. He will finish in the P6, that's sure, but who will place into P1? Who will stand on the podium? Now we have 5 drivers being separated by only 1/10, so it's only one mistake that will cost you everything. Now, heading to the final sector, gas over 2.
T-Jerk looks like he can take it back.
Mempifting has made a mistake.
T-Jerk looks like he could take it back today, but there are hungry drivers behind him. But he's been dominant all season. It seems like you can't stop him in Season 10, and the truth maintains the same. T-Jerk, you're
Yes,
a winner in
it's T-Jerk.
Pomodoro. Play Games finishes his final Italian Grand Prix in second place, and Crisscross OMG is on the podium again. Manpifting falls down to 5th place. At the end of the race, a disaster for the 7, and he is out of the server immediately. He knows what he's done.
Yes, and T-Jerk has made amends with the mistakes that he has made in the pit lap. So he was down at P10. He was P6 with no chances to recover just 3 laps ago. Now he stands as a superior, as a warrior that will come for what's his. And with 3 laps to go, the gap, instead of going down to 6 points, is being pulled away to even more, to like 40 or 15 points. Now let's see that 28 points of Tidrick will allow him to put 12 points, 14 points of Mempifting to 14 laps of the difference, which will make the gap go up to 35 points. Also, what a performance from Play Games, having his last season passed and passing by in his home race, in a special rivalry that is being presented just for him. He comes with a P2 finish with a fastest lap, and Crisscross, what a drive, having trying to um, go and pass the race, as his injury prevented him from not making the race. He was able to do that, and what a drive from him, having his second podium of the season, second podium of his career. Uh, it's it's it is P3. It's not P2 or P1, but P3, having little to none of practice sessions, is something you would want to be proud of. Guys, who is your driver of the day?
It's
Who
hard to
are
say. Crisscross
who?
OMG is only
Wait,
the only the 4th driver this season in Division 1 to get more than one podium finish. The other two being Going Me Chris 2, and of course the 2 championship contenders. But second place
let me
and the
rephrase the
fastest
question.
lap, it has to be Play Games for me.
Let's rephrase the question. Who are your drivers? Who are your drivers of the day?
I have to only give it to Play Games personally. He looked all the race winner that we know him to be today. He faced some of the stiffest competition that Division One has ever seen in T-Jerk, and only 1/10 of a second there at the end. He didn't put a foot wrong all race. So Play Games, and it's good to have him back on the podium in his final season in Formula Roblox League.
Yes, that's true to be said, but I think that I'm going to have to go with 4 drivers of the day. It's gonna be T-Dirk for his great composure and nerves being put still to manage and cover the loss that he has made in the pit lap, going from P10 all the way to P1 in the space of only 14 laps, and from P6 all the way to P1 in the space of only 3 laps. That's something that defines the world champions themselves. Play Games, I have said already about them. Crisscross, I have said already about them. But Ava Flakes needs to be also given credit to, because of the performances that is putting this season as a whole, and this performance is one of them. So P4 might be bad. P4 might be very, very unlucky with the outcome and with the gaps that he has lost to P1. But that's the result that he can be proud of, as he will maintain likely the championship P4 before he will
It might
stay
be tricky
ahead
with
of.
Crisscross. Those two have been fighting all season for that P4
Let's
spot.
see. The gap between Ava Flakes and Crisscross, oh my god, is 5 points. Crisscross has 17 points. Ava Flakes has 14. So the gap will be 2 points. If a fake is blue, still holds 2p4. So that's all from us. My name was Quatrus.
This is your friend and mine, Gus the Goose, and I'll